Should have seen it when we first came out of the house. Those were all, there was 6 or 7 individual lines. They've sort of morphed into one big bunch of schmutz. But that was all a bunch of lines. Just nothing. I'm just saying, look how pretty it is. Look how pretty it is. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's pretty. It's pretty. Look how pretty it is. Oh my God, that's so pretty. Oh my God, that's so pretty. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look how pretty that is. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so pretty. Oh my God. Oh my God. So pretty. Oh my God. Oh my God. Good morning, Matt, the visionary. What's happening? Look at those chemtrails. No, those aren't chemtrails. You're a conspiracy theorist. That's just normal stuff that planes do some of the time. Why would anyone think that's not normal, natural? I mean, you go to the air show to see planes do that, right? Right? When you go to the air show and you're like, look, they're skywriting, and you're like, oh, that's cool because it's not normal. But what would be the point of going to the air show at this point? To see them make a loop-de-loop. Oh, he made a loop-de-loop. What the fuck, man? So, I really think this is interesting because a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys, I saw the video. Black dude, he was being interviewed by a podcast of some sort. And he was saying that Elon Musk has been having, and he was an electrician, and he said that Elon Musk had, you know, hundreds, thousands of electricians on the payroll wiring up all of these systems that has, wiring up all of these robots. And you know, he was saying like something happening, I don't know what it is, but they have us, we're working 24 hours a day, you know, multiple shifts. We just one stops working, another one comes in 24 hours a day, and we're just wiring things up. I don't really know what it's about, right? And yet you're seeing, like I saw that the news today was saying that the 60,000 people that have taken the buyout that don't know if they're actually going to get paid now. They tricked them into taking it, and then now they're not going to pay them for it. It's crazy shit. But the news is like, that's 3% of the federal workforce. Yeah, but the federal workforce includes postal workers and, you know, people at the library and, you know, people at the DMV and shit. So yeah, it's 3% of the federal workforce if you include everyone. But if you just take the Washington component, I would imagine that 60,000 is probably a much more significant portion than 3%. Maybe I'm stupid. You know, again, maybe I'm stupid. But it sure seems strange. And I'm still waiting on the gas prices and the food prices to go down. Aren't you guys? I thought Trump was going to get in office, and immediately we were going to have, you know, the food prices, the gas prices, it was all going to be cut in half. What happened to that? Why aren't the Trumpanzees more angry about it? What's up, Karen? I don't understand. I see X's every day in the sky and people think nothing of it. It's just amazing. And most of them have their phones. They couldn't do the spray like they do until they got the phones in people's hands. Look at that shit. Those are new. Look at how you can see it like falling. You can actually see it falling down. But look at those lines. Those are all new. And when you understand, like I'm telling you, when I came out of my house, that was like 7 individual lines. It's clearly morphed into a cloud. what is there not to see? Like, what are you not seeing here? I just don't understand. Financial reconstruction is imminent. A crash is to come. Of course it is. It's the 100-year cycle. If you've been paying attention, you understand. These Jays are stupid as shit. They have a playbook that they go from that they're not smart enough to deviate from. And if you look at the 100-year cycle, you go back to 1908, 1909, there was a mini crash then. You look at the 2018, 2019 Spanish flu, 17, 18, 19 Spanish flu. It literally, they call it a coronavirus. They say it's the exact same thing as COVID. They're gearing up for the 29 crash, which just happens to be the year after Trump. Gosh, isn't that strangely coincidental? But does anybody truly think this is for our benefit? I really don't understand why the average Trumpanzee thinks that Trump is for our benefit. What about that man makes you think he's all about the little man? You know, he's all about the poor people. It's so strange, and it's strange too because you can't get them to actually, address what they're talking about, or proudly say why they do this or they do that. There's no pride in what they do because how could there be? They're racist. It's just racism. Trump represents racism. And if you don't think so and you go, no, it's because of this, this, and this. Well, he's also very racist. So even if there is this, this, and this, the fact that he's so racist says everything. What the fuck? Oh. Put the fucking thing on, I didn't recognize the phone. I was like, what's going on? Why did she leave her phone down there? Trump is the beast. He's the beast. New office of faith in the White House now. New office. What do you? I see you just saying stupid shit. Yes, I can take chemtrail videos often and save them on my external USB drive in case they want to delete it from my phone. There's no point. If scaring people into caring about chemtrails was going to work, it would have worked by now. Right? What we need to do is call on people's reasoning, call on people's selfishness and greed. There's no need for hurricanes to still be destroying rich people's houses. There's no need for forest fires to still be able to rage and destroy rich people's houses and shit. The government is more than capable of dissipating, controlling, destroying hurricanes. What people seem to forget is that on 9/11, there was an unprecedented hurricane supposed to be hitting New York. It would have been completely unprecedented. It would have been like this huge deal. But for some reason, it stayed off the coast of New York, almost like it was pushing against something. And if it would have been hurricane weather, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. I mean, you're just stupid. Again, this idea that Trump, he will get people to submit. Trump is nothing. Trump is an actor. He's a figurehead. And he is stupid as shit. Somebody tell me something super intelligent Trump has said. Separation of church and state, gone. Exactly. And it shouldn't be. That's insane. That's just fucking insane. Make America logical again. Stop focusing on America, dude. We live in a one world society. They have you guys thinking that the countries and all that, the individual borders, they don't live like that. Oh, is this more fear porn? The super volcano's gonna blow up and kill everybody. You ever seen a volcano look like that? No. But, yo, are we due for another eruption? Now he's going to say we're actually long overdue.
It's one of those things that happens very, very infrequently, but if it happens, it has global consequences. It puts a lot of material into the atmosphere. It changes the weather a bit globally.
Based on the, you know. Fucking stupid. Look up Office of Faith, man. He actually did it. That's fucking terrible. So the Office of Faith, so he did do it. The separation of church and state is no longer a thing. He has an Office of Faith. The world, whatever, it starts here where I live before everywhere else. Yeah, but it doesn't. That's the wrong mentality. It doesn't start here. It starts everywhere. The Goyim need to unite worldwide. We need to realize that they have us separated for a reason. When they realize that the resistance is global, it'll be people have forgotten, like all of us have forgotten what 2018 was like. 2018, 2019. Me Too was really strong. All of the pt.88 stuff was still very strong. The only country that wasn't in like countrywide protests, basically, the only major country was the United States. The Yellow Vest movement was all over Europe. South America was the people were overthrowing the tyrannical governments. Even the people in China were protesting like crazy, singing the national anthem, trying to get Americans to pay attention to what was going on in China. We were on the brink of revolt. And Trump was a big part of that. We were revolting against, like, it's amazing just how short-term and whitewashed everyone's memory is when it comes to Trump. Everybody loves to forget that because we were asking too many questions, because we were really starting to fight back, because the Epstein thing was not going away like they wanted it to. They did Operation COVID. Whatever the fuck the operation was called, Operation COVID came, and your buddy Trump locked everyone down. Hey, look, Burnt Rubber is flying the pedo flag. Look, he's flying the pedo flag. If you fall for Gematria, you're kind of foolish. That shit's just goofy. You can literally make that. You can make that shit anything. And more importantly, the thing that never gets talked about, where'd it come from? Who figured it out? You know? Who decided that this was going to be this and this and this and this and this, the values and all that shit? Hey man, you want to fly your pedo flag, you fly it. You acknowledge that you're a piece of shit pedo. We all know who you are, and that's good. Like, we all know. Like I say, I've already launched my bid for the 2028 presidency. And really, if you think about it, it fits. That by 2028, some regular nobody rises up because shit has been so bad. And at the very least, maybe I don't win, but at least I'm heard. So I'm announcing, or I already announced, that I'm running for president in 2028. And I'm running on the platform, first and foremost, that we eliminate the Jays, that they not kill them, but just send them all to Israel. You are allowed to say that you don't subscribe to the supremacy and you're actually Team Goyim, you're willing to put all that supremacist bullshit behind, and we're going to move forward. And by all means, trust me, Christianity and all that shit's getting taken all out of it too. But we're absolutely, we're going to let the Jays live in Israel all by themselves without our interference even a little bit. No more money from us, nothing. And we'll see how it works out. Look at these fucking idiots. Look at this idiot just desperately trying to say he can't disrupt anything. He can't debunk anything. So he's just saying stupid shit. Same with Trump. Yeah, you don't remember. Biden put us on lockdown. No, he didn't. How did this happen? Seriously. How is this so prominent? How are people so stupid that they've forgotten that Trump locked us down? It was the Trump presidency that locked us down. Are you out of your fucking minds? What are you talking about? How are people that stupid? As someone who isn't even a JQer, hey, you can make fun of guys' appearance, but come on, talk all you want about my family. I don't give a fuck. Do you guys think anything you guys say along those lines affects me? I just can't. There's just nothing you guys say that matters. Everything that's said about me personally is a stupid person acknowledging that I'm right about what I'm saying. They just want to ad hominem. They're like obsessed with the way I look, which says a lot. Like I always ask the guys, like, how do you prefer your dudes to look? But this is just stupidity. This is what happens when people are stupid. When you start putting direct questions out there and making direct points, and people want to talk about other things, that's literally ad hominem. What's that? What's that? Oh, you want me to read it? Okay, I will. I don't mind reading it. I actually really like how well it sums it up for you. Ad hominem. Oh, got to give my sources. I don't like you because you don't give your sources. The source is the Wikipedia explanation of ad hominem. Wikipedia.org. Got to give my sources. He doesn't give his sources. Ad hominem, short for argumentum ad hominem, refers to several types of arguments that are usually fallacious. Often, currently, this term refers to a rhetorical strategy where the commenter attacks the character, motive, or some other attribute of the person making an argument rather than the substance of the argument itself. This avoids genuine debate by creating a diversion, often using a totally irrelevant but often highly charged attribute of the person's character or background. The most common form of this fallacy is person A, moi, makes a claim of fact, to which person B, you dumbasses, asserts that person A, yours truly, has a personal trait, quality, or physical attribute that is repugnant, thereby going off topic, and hence person B, you, concludes that person A, me, has their fact wrong without ever addressing the point of the debate. Many politicians use this strategy, and it's a common misconception that an ad hominem attack is synonymous with an insult. Misconception. So them thinking they're insulting me isn't true. It validates everything. It verifies everything. You want me to read it in Hebrew? Does that sound good? No? You guys know that Hebrew is the newest language on the planet, right? Newest language on the planet. But shh. You must not know what Sideshow Bob's hair looks like. It's never over, Karen. Just bots and trolls and some real humans like myself. Yeah, well, I mean, again, it just completely says the same things over and over again. It just I don't know why it bothers you guys so much. That's the funniest thing. Like, you guys have become super protective and shit. But it doesn't, like, why would it bother you? Bro, take a shower, get a job. While you are embarrassing your family and yourself. Yep. That's what's happening. How can you be that stupid? You're going to take the time to try to I'm going to be real mean. I'm going to try to say something really mean. Man, he's talking about shit I'm not smart enough to ask or answer myself. So I'm going to say something mean, but I'm not going to bother to spell it correctly so he can make me look like a dumbass. Thanks a lot, dumbass. It doesn't bother me. Am I not allowed to entertain myself? If that's entertainment for yourself, fine, but don't let it get to you. That's all I'm saying. Don't waste your energy on that shit. That's the waste of energy. These are the toxic energy vampires. By the way, I don't know if you guys checked out Mind Unveiled's newest video about vampires and the lure of vampires. It's interesting. It sucks because I see these pages as distractions anymore. You know, you have this amazing platform and a lot of people listening, and you're respected as somebody who, you know, gets to the bottom of things. Well, fucking A, man. You know, do it. Expose these piece of shit Jays. Like again, my lunch break. I really want to talk to that guy. I'd love to do a collab video with him because so much of the time he talks about the group that controls things, the group that hides things, the group that gives the nod to each other at the fires, like the group. Well, who the fuck is the group, dude? And how is it you still sort of seem to believe in Jesus? Karen's actually a real person, right? At least I'm pretty sure that's the right Karen, but I know Karen from days ago, so. Is Australia real or BS? Is Australia real or BS? What are we even talking about there? What kind of distractionary bullshit is that? You think I waste my time on that shit? I could tell you that what we think of Australia probably isn't true. I don't know. There's something that's not right. And this comes again from personal experience, and it's going to be a situation that, like, anybody can either prove or disprove, right? So in June and July, here in Michigan, say Michigan was like here on the globe. Australia's, if I were to drill straight through, I would hit Australia. Here in Michigan, anytime after around 8:30, my viewers in Florida will say how it's strange because it's dark in Florida. Yet here in Michigan, it'll stay light in the summertime, like in the solstice time. It'll stay light till like 10:30. The sun will have gone down, but the light will still persist till like 10:30. Well, if I'm live at nighttime, after 8 o'clock. I can still see the sun well above the horizon. It's above the trees and above the houses and shit, so it hasn't gone down yet. People in Florida, which is basically directly south of me, maybe a little bit to the east, say how dark it is. West coast of Florida, that's on the, or right, I mean, if I'm in Detroit, you take 75 all the way down and you hit Florida. Like, that's how you get to Florida. So it's right there. The people in Australia are between 10 and 12 and a half hours ahead of us. So if it's 8 o'clock here, at 8 o'clock p.m., it's between 6 and 8:30 a.m. there. Why can I see the sun in the sky at the same time as people in Australia can see the sun in the sky? We shouldn't be able to see the same sun in the sky. Doesn't make sense. It's not like it's that way in reverse. You know, when it's the height of summer in Australia at 8, 9 o'clock at night, they're not seeing the same sun I can see. Because the Earth has a tilt. Yeah, that makes sense, because it's tilted. So if the northern hemisphere tilts more towards the equator during the summer, then Florida should stay light longer than Michigan does. Your own narrative debunks you. You just don't realize it. Like, it's crazy to think that people just accept these ideas. But, you know, the earth shape argument is one of the best distractions they have. We sit here and argue about shit it's pretty obvious. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you can't necessarily prove it either. Right? You can't prove either way, either one. You know, you just have to sort of trust the narrative. And when anything comes down to trusting the narrative, trusting the J's that control narrative, I'm more inclined to be anti-Semitism than have policy or predisposition favorable to the J's, which is what Semitism is. So, you know, when it comes to them, and they're the sole source of the information, it's a good chance it's a lie. I think we argue about a lot of things we're told to, but honestly, I think the earth being round or flat is completely people being bored. It's not bored. It's people wanting truth. Truth is, we're attracted to truth. But it's you know, there are people that, you know, for me, it's one of those things where it's one of the more easy things to prove. And if we can prove that they've been lying to us about the shape of the earth, then that gets the foot in the door. And you know, anytime so you say, you know, well, there's also the J conspiracy, there's also the pedo stuff, also the things that people have been programmed with that same response. Oh, yeah, that conspiracy theorist. Now you say, oh, you mean like the earth shape? It'll get people to rethink everything. So it has its value. But again, it can only be proven if we overthrow these pieces of shit. You know, the fact is, when it comes to the round earth, you can't, there's nothing. You literally have nothing. The only argument people will give you is that, well, everything in the sky is round, so what is all the other stuff's round and we're not? That's literally the only argument you have as far as round earth goes, other than I was told that by the machine and they showed me pretty pictures. Everything else just doesn't make any sense. It goes against your own personal experience. It goes against, you know, the things you, like if you go to a body of water and you watch the ship go over the horizon, if you have a viewing device like a camera that's being outlawed, that can zoom in super far, the Nokia 900s or whatever, you can pull that thing back into view. It didn't go over any horizon. It went past your perspective, and people just don't understand about perspective. If I go out into the middle of the street and I look all the way down my road, and I show you guys, it'll look like everything gets smaller the further away you go. It doesn't actually get smaller. It's just how the human eye sees things. And these are all arguments. These are all things that people literally know nothing about, and yet they want to argue it. People love to argue like they've been to the fucking moon and, they saw the earth. I saw it. Like, it's fucking stupid. Let's see. Now I just look for the people that are worth responding. Right, you guys can't listen, therefore can't listen. They know I'm right, dude. If they didn't know I was right, they wouldn't be here. Understand, they're here because I'm right. I tell you all the time, look at how real that looks. Oh, that looks so real, and the stars behind it look so real, and ooh. Oh yeah, oh, the big telescopes, yep. Funny that this happens to be on right now, huh? Every multiverse that ever existed. Yep. Because now you know about multiverses. Look at how arrogant they have everyone. They have you arrogantly talking about shit you know nothing about. You can't prove. Nothing. Nothing. Every ancient culture, all the supposedly super advanced cultures that clearly built shit that we couldn't build. I was thinking about this today. If you see pictures of what South America was supposed to look like, and Machu Picchu and just all these places that are Tublacan and whatever, these huge cities that they say, if you look at what they tell you it looked like, because we see it from the perspective but they go, this is what it looked like back when it was a bustling city, blah, 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 blah. And you think some white people on a boat who had been sailing aimlessly and just happened upon that those people that built all those pyramids, the Machu Picchu's up way on the cliff, all the lines and just all of that, those people lost to white people? You wonder why our history or how our history is white supremacy? How that's what they're doing? They're pushing white supremacy. It just doesn't make any sense. How did they come to the foreign land and overrun these people that were building things we can't build today? Think about how stupid that is. And we're told that the people were savages and all that. So the white people, because they had guns that, you could fire an inaccurate round every 5 minutes or so. Hold still. I'm going to shoot. Just hang on. I'm going to shoot you. Hang on. Okay. Okay. All right. Now hang on. I'm going to load another one. Okay. Oh, shit. I put too much in. Hang on. Okay. Give me the bullet. Okay. Give me the stick. Hang on. Okay. Okay. Seriously? You actually believe that bullshit? It's amazing how much shit you just accept, and we all do. My lunch break did a fantastic video a couple days ago about the catacombs. Hey, go check out my lunch break and tell him I said this guy says tard. This guy is calling people retard. This guy still says shit like that, and people should take him seriously. Talk about, how else do you say, I have a tiny penis without saying I have a tiny penis. It's you still calling people tard. Tard? You're a tard. Because mental retardation is funny. Ha ha ha. See, he's disadvantaged. Ha ha ha. Ha. Like, this is who I'm up against, right? This is the intelligence I have to try to swim through, right? Come on, man. Oh, we're going to intercept the menacing asteroids now with ours. Ooh. This is what you guys believe.
None of those are real pictures.
Not a single one, no. I mean, just think about all of it. It's amazing how dumb we are. And we just, it's like the weird part is, instead of getting mad at me for making you feel dumb, get mad at the system who made you dumb to begin with. Like, it's just, it's so crazy how shoot the messenger is your only option. Change it. Change the face of life with me. Everything is death, doom, and gloom. Death, doom, and gloom. Everyone's gonna die. It's fucking crazy. I've been thinking about some things. You know what I wanted to look up the other day? I woke up to this last night. At 3:26 in the morning, I woke up and I was thinking about where did the idea of dipping baby shoes in brass and shit come from? Why is that a thing?
To preserve them.
To preserve baby shoes, just the one pair of shoes. It's just a weird thing.
First pair of shoes.
But for what?
Keep them.
I know, but for what? I guess. So I wanted to look up the tunnels. I also wanted, like, I was going to look up Scientology. But the tunnels under Detroit. You know, we have that shit. They're everywhere. They're under every fucking city. Tunnels under Detroit. And see, this is that thing that, like, why are we all so okay with this? It's
There being tunnels, we can't control that.
Yeah, we can. Well, we can't control that there's, but the idea that the people in the 1800s or before that were capable of boring tunnels all over tunnel systems. And when you look into things like the catacombs, where they not only did they somehow bore all these tunnels out, they then lined the walls with bones, skulls, and all these geometric patterns and all this crazy shit. Thousands and thousands of bones are all over the place, and they're under all these mega churches all over. You know, what is going on here? The amount of energy, effort, money it would cost to do these things. But we're talking about people without power tools. We're talking about, they just had the stronger work ethic, right? That my wife goes with that one a lot. Well, the people back then they just worked harder than we do, right? They would. I love when my lunch break says this, like that they would work all day, building and sculpting these amazing structures we can't even do today. And then they would go get on their horse, go down their dirt road, and go sleep in their mud shack. Then wake up the next day, get on their horse, come park their horse, and then sculpt the most amazing 3-story buildings in the world. 4, 10-story, 20-story buildings in the world.
Yes.
Yep, that makes sense. Come home, it's wintertime, there's no heat. They're like, it's interesting to talk to people who live below like the winter line. Because they really just don't have any sort of understanding about what real cold is like. You know, this kind of cold, I just, how could anybody live in this kind of cold?
Definitely. I just, no.
Without the modern day conveniences. And how were they building in this kind of cold? And how were the horses all bringing all the material? Like, just the whole horses argument. When you look at just like horses need like 10 to 15 gallons of water per day. They also shit like 10 to 15 pounds of shit every day. And horses aren't like, they're not like these indestructible machines. You know, they can easily fuck up an ankle, a foot, you know, a hoof, a leg. All that shit can easily get fucked up, especially not in a natural setting. And you just the whole concept of building giant skyscrapers made of marble and shit, limestone, whatever. How the fuck were they moving these things? Like, we're just like so distracted by our fucking cell phones and our dumb little free games that they give us, and you know, our fake friends and our fake reality, and all. We're just so distracted by it that we're not sitting there using this amazing research tool that we have to communicate and try to figure these things out. No, they weren't rolling big giant granite blocks on fucking, you know, trees, and it's just stupid. The narratives we're given are just stupid. How many of you know about the Coral Palace? Here, we'll do this one real quick. Coral Castle. Coral Castle Museum. I think they destroyed it, didn't they? I guess it might still be there. Coral Castle, home. All right, let's see. Coral Castle is an oolite limestone. Let's see what. Oolite is a sedimentary rock formed from ooids, spherical grains composed of concentric layers. Strictly, oolites consist of ooids in diameter of 0.25 to 2 millimeters. Rocks composed of ooid larger than 2 millimeters are called pisolites. The term oolith can refer to oolite or individual oolids. Composition. Oolites are most commonly composed of calcium carbonate, but can be blah, blah, blah. Warm, strong, crashing. Oolites commonly found in the current bending oolites on home aquariums. Alright. Okay. Is a limestone structure created by the Latvian-American eccentric Edward Leedsekalnin. Edward Leeds. I'll just call him Eddie. We're just gonna call him Eddie because I'm not hip. So we're definitely gonna read about him from 1887 to 1951. It comprises numerous large stones, each weighing several tons, sculpted into a variety of shapes, including slab walls, tables, chairs, a crescent moon, a water fountain, and a sundial. It was sold to Lanier Corp for $13.5 million. So this is this stuff. This is like super hard shit. It's not easily sculpted, right? My personal business. I'm at the hospital, bro. That's all you get. I hope you're feeling good, dude. Hope everything works out. I know you're not feeling good if you're in the hospital. I'm just saying. So this red dot is where this place was. I don't know. This is where it is located, but that's not the original location. This is one of the most fantastic stories ever, and you've probably never heard of it. How many of you have heard of this, right? Even though Coral Castle is noted that it was built single-handedly by Eddie using reverse magnetism or supernatural abilities, photographs and eyewitness accounts evidence that he used pulleys and other simple tools. That's the narrative, right? So show me somebody else doing the same fucking thing. That's all I want to know. If you can show me the same shit happening, you show me somebody else that can recreate this single-handedly, then I'll shut the fuck up. It is currently a privately operated tourist attraction located in an unincorporated territory of Miami-Dade County, Florida. I don't know if you've been paying attention over the years, but Miami-Dade County is one of the more fucked up places in the world. A lot of shit comes out of Miami-Dade County. A lot.
Dade County, when I was working doing mortgages, Dade County, and as an underwriter especially, any single loan application that came from Dade County had to go through our fraud alert system department. We didn't get to underwrite it. Like, it went straight to the fraud department so they could examine every single nook and cranny of that shit. It was bad. And then when we got it for to sign off on for them to go to closing, we had to have like an operations manager come and sign behind us, no matter how experienced.
Get her talking about the fucking mortgages, and she will just
No,
go.
bad. Like,
Yeah.
it's like 8 out of every 10 applications was fraudulent.
Yeah, but as far as there's a lot of crime. Just look it up. A lot of shit that happens, like you'll hear about fucked up stories out of Florida, Miami-Dade County. Okay. Crystal Castle's own promotional material. Oh yeah? That the thing that's owned by the whatever corp? Right. Of course. Do you guys remember yesterday? I believe it was the decent guy. Maybe, no. I don't remember which dumbass it was. I think it was decent guy. No, it was a different dumbass. He claimed that I was a pedo and that I was on the list, or I went to jail for it. Just look it up. So I said, okay, where? Show me. You tell me exactly what to look up, and I'll look it up. I'll look it up on the phone, and if it's there, it'll show it, right? We'll show it. We'll look, whatever it is, look it up. You're making these fucking accusations. You're making these strong claims instead of being able to fucking argue anything. So here, I will look up what you're saying. As soon as I called this motherfucker's bluff, he shut the fuck up. He maybe commented once or twice after that, but as soon as he did, I said, no, motherfucker. You said something, back up your claim. I'm asking you for the evidence to back up what you're saying. You said look it up. I want to know what to look up. It's fucking silly, man. Anyway, again, now think. I'm about to read to you an official historical narrative, right? Like, this isn't, there's nothing here I'm making up. I didn't even learn about the Coral Castle until, I don't know, like 17 or 18, something like that. 2017, 18. So I this is more recent in my discovery. So why would it bother anyone that I would be reading about this thing? Why would anyone care? Why would you no, pay attention to me. Stop trying to talk about real stuff. And oh, my source, gotta show my sources. I don't like you because you don't show your sources. Crystal Castle or Coral Castle, Wikipedia. Okay? Just so you guys see, here's the sources. Just look up flight paths on a flat map. It'll all make sense yet. Yes, it will. It makes a lot more sense than, the fact that we can't fly from from Africa to Australia. You can't take a one-way flight there. That only should take a couple of hours. You can't take a flight from South America to South Africa. You have to cross over the middle of the country. You have to go across like it was on a flat earth. But hey, what do we know, right? Stupid. Oh, look, Burnt Rubber's flying that pedo flag again. Seriously, I don't care. You fly that flag all you want. You're outing yourself. You're outing yourself. This is that thing. Like, you can't show me the evidence of me being something. I'm showing you the evidence. This person is flying the flag that represents the pedos. Pedos and genocide. Nothing good. Tell me something good that flag represents. Tell me something good about those people. Even stories like this one. It's never going to be some J guy. The only time the Jays get involved is when the person that does it gets fucked over. Then you hear about how, the person got connected with some Jays and then suddenly they died. Suddenly they lost everything. Suddenly they lost all their patents. But here, just again, learn something. Coral Castle's own promotional material says Eddie was 26 years old when he was suddenly rejected by his 16-year-old fiance, gross, Angus Skuvitz in Latvia, just one day before the wedding. Leaving for the United States, he came down with allegedly terminal tuberculosis, but spontaneously healed, stating that magnets had some effect on his disease. Dude had tuberculosis. The records show he had terminal tuberculosis. He spontaneously healed. How did that happen? He spent more than 28 years building Coral Castle, refusing anyone to view him while he worked. A few teenagers claimed to have witnessed his work, reporting that he had caused the blocks of coral to move like hydrogen balloons. The only advanced tool that Eddie spoke of using was a perpetual motion holder. Now listen to this. Eddie originally built a castle, which he named Ed's Place in Florida City, Florida, around 1923. In 1923, this guy from Latvia just happened to fucking know how to build castles out of Florida fucking coral? Latvia's not this fucking tropical Florida-like place where he would have had all this experience in building. I'm really interested to see how this narrative paints it, because the narrative is really fucking strange. He purchased the land from Reuben Moser. Oh, there we have our J connection. Whose wife had assisted him when he had another very bad case of tuberculosis. Another one. Florida City, which borders the Everglades, is the southernmost city in the United States that is not on an island. At the time, it was an extremely remote location with very little development. That's weird. I wonder why. The castle remained in Florida City until about 1936, when Eddie decided to move and take the castle with him. Look, Doug's flying the pedo flag. Doug's flying the pedo flag. He's a proud pedo as well. Everybody give him the acknowledgement he wants as a proud pedo. Think about that. In 1936, this guy moved a castle in Florida in a place that wasn't built up or anything. Look at it. Think about this. They're not even saying, dude, that's crazy. We're not pedos, blah, blah, blah. I say, that's the proud pedo flag, and they start flying it. Right? Most pedos haven't been caught. And who knows who these people's real identity is, right? So we can't even look them up. But the evidence is right in front of you. Not a single real person on here would allow me to call them a pedo and not say anything. And not only not say anything, but like purposefully do the thing that made me think you were or I acknowledged it. If I say that typing, a number code, I say, hey, if you're a pedo, type this number code in. And the person then types that number code, that tells you everything. Most people don't want to be associated with that shit. Most people are really insulted and angry if you try to associate them with that shit. And yet these people are like, no, that's us. Look, I'm gonna post it a bunch of times now. Not gonna deny it. I'm not gonna deny it. I'm gonna proudly say, yes, look at me, I'm a pedo. Look it. This is the evidence that I can provide you guys. These pussies aren't gonna do anything. These pussies aren't gonna have a meeting or they're not gonna identify themselves in the real world. They're gonna hide. They're little keyboard warriors, hiding, pretending like they're tough shit or whatever. But they would never sit there and actually allow me to grill them because they know, they figured it out a while ago. If they really do get involved, I'm going to trick them. I'm going to get them to acknowledge that they're pedos. And, you have to think again, I'm asking the real people, what's going to be motivation for people to hate me? Do you think non-J, non-pedo people are going to hate the guy that says we should save our American tax dollars, $3.8 billion a year, well over $18 billion since 2023, October 2023? We shouldn't be giving that money to Israel to kill people. Who's going to oppose that? What real life red-blooded American is going to be like, no, dude, don't say that. That's terrible. Only dumb Jays are going to. And they're going to continuously prove that they don't have anything to say. It's not like they can tell, no, you're wrong about the Jays because of this, or you're wrong about... No, I say you fly the pedo flag, you're a pedo. And they go, look at me, I'm a pedo. That's all the evidence I can give you guys. They won't allow for anymore. It's again, they're cowards. They're not going to engage. They're not going to answer, why are you so angry? Why are you here to begin with? If it's not because you're some dumb J and or a pedo, then why are you here and so mad? They won't say anything. They're not going to address any of that shit. So the evidence is up to you guys to see it. Like I tell you all the time, the Jays are really fucking stupid. They're not pulling the strings. They're not in charge because they're... Right? Understand what you're seeing. This is the best... literally, this is the best they can do. If they could do better, if they could come up with something else, they would. It's just that simple. If they could point out, obsessed with the Jays, of course I am. I'm obsessed with cutting the head off the monster. I'm not some fool that's going to, focus on a tentacle. I want to cut the head off the monster. Simple. Why don't you tell me why I shouldn't? Why don't you say anything other than just stupid shit? Why do you insist on proving that you're a pedo and a stupid one at that? I just don't understand it. I could do better. No, you can't. If you could, you would. If there was something else you could say that would make me fucking look like a fool or prove me wrong about anything I'm saying, you would. Just like you felt the need to say something there. Because you're a stupid, easily manipulated clown. Your little panties are in a bunch and you're all upset because you're getting, you're looking like a fool right now. See it. It's not even one of those accidental things. You actually see it. You wish you could say something better, but you can't. You are a disgusting pedo piece of shit. Deep down, when you go to sleep every night, you have to know that about yourself. And it's disgusting, and you know it is. And now you're desperate, trying to come up with anything you can other than to tell me what I'm actually getting wrong, because you can't. You're talking about yourself. Ha 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 ha. Yep, that's what I'm doing. No, I'm talking about you dumbasses that keep falling for my traps. I do wish I had more capable opposition. I wish I had smarter opposition, but there can't be. Nobody can intelligently argue why we shouldn't give the Jays everything they want and move them all to Israel and let them have their lives. Free. They can be free. They can be free in their own place, making their own rules and dealing with their own problems. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Guy Williams for president. Rabbi Pastor Guy Williams Esquire for president 2028. Let's make it happen, people. Let's make it happen. Can you imagine how terrified the system would be if my page started getting way up there? We start getting that 100,000 views and shit like that. And the hashtags start going around and the idea starts going around. Hey, who the fuck is this guy? What's going on here? What is this grassroots movement? It's 2025. Grassroots is going to look a lot different than it looked 100 years ago. We are on the forefront of this shit. We can actually fix this situation before they fucking lock us down. Before those train doors close. But we don't have a lot of time. I can say that for sure. We definitely don't have a lot of time. Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it just amazing? I'm the one that's wrong. Not only am I wrong, I'm like going against the standard narrative. So it should be really easy to show how I'm wrong. It shouldn't be some clown show where dumb fucking idiots keep showing how stupid you are. They should be like, no, dude, you're wrong about this because of this. And, have you thought about this? Have you looked at this? Read this. Provide me information. Tell me what I should look up that's going to make the Jays seem okay. Somehow convince me that cult should continue to be accommodated. Because it's a cult. We're talking about the cult. Right? I mean, this is our chance. Anyway. This Coral Castle is really interesting, right? I'm making it up, though. It's really interesting. Florida City was born at the time. The castle remained in Florida in 1936. When its second and final location has the mailing address of 28655 South Dixie Highway, Miami, Florida 33033. Oh, man. That's pretty fucking silly. That's fucking silly. 33033. What a coincidence. Which now appears with a census-generated overlay of Leisure County, but which is actually unincorporated county territory. I wonder what that means. He reportedly chose relocation as a means to protect his privacy when discussion about developing land in the original area of the castle started. He spent 3 years moving the component structures of Coral Castle 10 miles north from Florida City to its current location outside Homestead, Florida. How? We're going to get a how? Eddie named the new place Rock Gate after the huge rear swinging gate he built into a brick wall. See, you guys think that that's like a gate, right? It's actually like a huge, many-ton slab that perfectly fits into a wall made of coral that spins around in the middle. Well, it did. It doesn't do it anymore. For some reason, it doesn't do it anymore, and we can't fix it. But he did it with just everyday tools. Like, this is just a regular guy doing regular shit, right? Do. He continued to work on the castle until his death in 51. The oolate pieces that are part of the newer castle, not among those transported from the original location, were quarried on the property only a few feet away from the castle's walls. Right? Because everybody can quarry that shit. That's easy to do. The pool and the pit beside the southern wall are quarries. The east and west quarries have been filled in. At Florida City, Eddie charged visitors 10 cents apiece to tour the castle grounds. After moving the homestead, he asked for donations of 25 cents, but let visitors enter free if they had no money. Pretty silly to think that you made it to that castle to visit, but you didn't have 25 cents to throw the guy. Gee, I wonder who was that. Oh no, I don't. Oh no, I don't have any money. I'm sorry. I want to see it though. There were signs carved into rocks at the front gate to ring bell twice. He would come down from his living quarters in the second story of the castle tower, close to the gate, and conduct a tour. He never told anyone who asked how the castle was made. He would simply answer, "It's not difficult if you know how." And yet, nobody has been able to replicate it. Isn't that strange? When asked why he built the castle, Eddie would vaguely answer it was for his sweet 16, when he was 26. This is widely believed to be a reference to that girl. In Eddie's own publication, A Book in Every Home, he implies his sweet 16 was more an ideal than a reality. Just the whole notion of Sweet 16 is not something we just naturally came up with. That was something that was put on us, and it's disgusting. It's fucking gross. According to a Latvian account, the girl existed, but her name was actually Hermione Lucis. When Eddie became ill in November 51, he put a sign on the door of the front gate, "Going to hospital," and took the bus to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami. He suffered a stroke at one point, either before he left for the hospital or at the hospital, right? We know what was said in 2,000 years ago between two people. We know the Bible is a bunch of conversations that were had between sometimes just two people in a cave, two little girls in a cave. We know what was exactly said, but we don't know when all the exact details for this story that happened in 1951. Gotcha. He suffered a stroke. He died 28 days later of pyelonephritis, a kidney infection that nobody's ever heard of or has. At the age of 64, his death certificate noted that his death was a result of uremia, failure of kidneys as a result of the infection and abscesses. Amazing. While the property was being investigated, $3,500 US, equivalent to $41,085 in 2023, was found among Eddie's personal belongings. He had made his income from conducting tours, selling pamphlets about various subjects, including magnetic currents. I'd love to know, get my hands on one of those pamphlets. And the sale of a portion of his 10-acre property for the construction of Route 1, U.S. Route 1. This guy owned southern Florida before other people did, before the government did, and he bought it from a J. And the J that he bought it from, well, his name isn't blue, so we don't get to investigate him. As he had no will, the castle became property of his closest living relative in the United States, a nephew from Michigan named Harry. Man, I wish I could have met Harry. Coral Castle's website reports that the nephew was in poor health and he sold the castle to an Illinois family in 1953. However, this story differs from the obituary of a former Coral Castle owner, Julius Levin, a retired jeweler from Chicago. The obituary states Levin had purchased the land from the state of Florida in 1952 and may not have been aware that there was even a castle on the land. That makes a lot more sense, right? It just belonged to a J and he didn't even know. He didn't even fucking know about it. The guy was living on his fucking property for all those fucking years. Gotcha. No, that's the story I'm going with. The new owners turned it into a tourist attraction and changed the name of Rockgate to Rockgate Park and later to Coral Castle. In January 1981, Levine sold the castle to Coral Castle Inc. for $175,000 or $586,493 in 2023 money. The company retains ownership today. Again, so AJ sold the Coral Castle to a company that is called Coral Castle Inc. They named themselves Coral Castle Inc. before they even had ownership of it. Does that make any fucking sense to you? It's like the Thames Tunnel Company, Why would you form a company that's only incorporated for this one thing especially when it's like you're a construction person or you're a property manager? I don't even know what is Coral Castle Inc. Who owns Coral Castle Inc.? It's not blue, so I can't find any information on it. Kind of an interesting little... I mean, isn't it funny how it's never just simple? Some non-J owned it for a long time, sold it, blah, blah, it's never like that. It's always something stupid like this. The J that owned the land beforehand, how did he own this land that was basically worthless? And think about it. Back then, South Florida was worthless. Nobody had thought to develop South Florida, even though there's a star fort out on one of the keys. The southern tip of Florida was like, no, that's stupid. There's hurricanes there. To think how they ever built up Florida is just, it doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, if you look up the history of hurricanes, just like earthquakes, just like tornadoes, for some reason, there just weren't a lot of them back then. First of all, like 80 to 90% of the world's tornadoes happen in the United States. They don't happen everywhere else. And you would think, like, the Godfinger coming out of the sky and scraping a big fucking track in the earth, you'd think a lot of people would be writing about that shit that, you know, that just sort of happened one day. You'd think with as many hurricanes as we get today, there would be a ton of, like, how did the slave ships take the hurricane routes to transfer the slaves? Where were they just they were sailing in between the hurricanes? Is that what it was? That way they could get a lot of good wind out of it. The narrative that you're given is just fucking stupid. And it's time that we start calling it out for what it is. If you could tell me this whole story makes sense to you, I'd love to know what it, you know, what happens. I'd love to know what part you believe. He does contradict himself if you listen long enough. Why don't, instead of you saying that, why don't you say how I contradict myself then, Dumsky? Like, this is that clown shit that I just never really get. Well, I totally understand it, actually. I understand it as you don't actually have anything, so you're trying to make yourself feel better. But if that's not the case, why not just lead with that? Not, oh, he contradicts himself if you listen long enough. Why not be like, oh yeah, well, he contradicted himself about this thing, and he'll do it even more if you listen long enough. Why not do something like that? How are you that stupid? Oh, it takes T.O. long, does it? It takes T.O. long. Sweetheart! Sweetheart! Oh, she's not here. She would love to know that it takes T.O. long. God, are you stupid? Thank you for making it so easy. Thank you for making it so easy. In 1984, the property was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It was added under the name of Rockgate, but the name on the list was changed to Coral Castle in 2011. The stone sign just inside the property says ADM 10C drop below. Is not original to Coral Castle. Eddie made the sign and placed it in front of his earlier location at Florida City when he was tired of giving a free show to visitors who were careless and trampled his shrubbery. The sign was donated by the owners of Ed's Place and placed here in subsequent years. The castle. A view. Yeah. He just made all that shit. And there's no evidence. There's just none of it. There's no, yep. The guy just made all that. And he was just using pulleys and shit. Just anybody, yeah, you know. Yeah, the entrance. Here's the entrance. He just, you know, an entrance. Yeah. He just set all those huge blocks all by himself. But this is the best one. So this is the spinning gate. Back when Eddie was in charge, it actually spun around. It doesn't spin anymore. So they have to wall it off so nobody can get through it. But it used to spin. But he just made that with like pulleys and shit, right? He just had some basic tools and some pulleys and shit. The grounds of the castle consist of 1,100 short tons or 1,000 tons. So now there's short tons, long tons, and tons. Short tons is a measurement equal to 2,000 pounds. Oh, okay, so that is the short ton. Short ton, long ton, and metric ton. Oh, okay. So short tons are your standard. I'd never heard it called short and long tons until I started doing recent research. Okay. 1,000 tons. No, 1,000 long tons. 1,100 short tons of stones in the form of walls, carvings, furniture, and a castle tower. Commonly mistakenly made of oolite, also known as oolitic limestone. Oolitic limestone is a sedimentary rock composed of small spherical grains of concentrically layered carbonate that may include localized concentrations of fossil shells and coral. If anybody wants to give me the easy explanation as to how organic matter turns into stone, into fossils, I'd love to know. Another one of those things we just accept way too easily. No, the thing fell down. And the organic matter just fell down and was almost immediately covered with a layer of airtight, who knows what. And then, and that over time, the organic matter, because it was sealed, it somehow turned itself into stone. Like when they talk about the petrified forests, right? Strangely enough, those don't exist all over the place. But what they say with that is that either the trees fell down, or even the ones that were still sort of standing upright, there's an eruption. It covered the trees in schmutz. Over the years, the rain seeped down from the ground, or from the, into the ground. And eventually, all of the organic matter cells were replaced by silica. And now we have tree rocks. Yep. Makes sense. He's up here. Huh? Yeah. All right. Miami oolite is found throughout southeastern Florida, from Palm Beach County to the Florida Keys. Oolite is often found beneath several inches of topsoil, such as the Coral Castle site. The stones are fastened together without mortar. They are set on top of each other, using their weight to keep them together. The craftsmanship detail is so fine, and the stones are connected with such precision that no light passes through the joints. Because people are just capable of doing it. Oh, look, Billy's a pedo. Billy's like, hey, look at me, I'm a pedo. I'm flying the pedo flag. Everybody acknowledge Billy as the pedo he is. I really do want to start removing people for that, but I guess I can't. The idea that these guys now fly this fucking flag to signify that they want, they're signifying to the other pedos out there, hey, I want materials, or I have materials. Just contact me. That's how they know to contact each other. They found this is what they did before the whole Pizzagate thing got busted open. That's what they did. They sent coded emails like that, so they don't have to, connect to the dark web and all that shit all the time now. Now they can shop, they can do all this kind of shit right out in the open. If it's known that hey, let's meet on truther pages, because people get mad at truthers anyway, they won't believe them anyway. So if they meet on truther pages, and before it was the couch, it was a couple other things, once that got busted, they had to stop doing it. But now it seems like they figured out if they fly the flag, they can hide behind some sort of patriotism, which really doesn't make any sense anyway. But now, this if another pedo sees that flag, they reach out to that person and say, hey, they'll say some sort of other code just to make sure. hey, did you want to see that, something. And if that person answers the right way, then they know, okay, here, we can now exchange child exploitation materials. Now they can just shop out in the open. Although, you don't see this kind of shit on anybody else's stuff. You might see it on a few people's pages, and I would assume it's people that are openly talking about the Jays. But if they have these things already sort of agreed upon, it won't really matter. Right? The 8-foot tall vertical stones that make up the perimeter wall have a uniform height. Even with the passage of decades, the stones have not shifted. Kind of like how the pyramids and all that other stuff, all the old world tech, this is probably the newest version of old world tech on the planet. And it's right there underneath. And we had somebody that knew the secrets. There was somebody that knew the secrets, and instead of him being championed and made it, like, they knew about this. You're telling me this guy wasn't a fucking, wasn't a celebrity, wasn't world famous for being, for what he was able to accomplish? Guy built his own house. I mean, obviously you had to keep some of it secret because he's fucking gross, but still. Yeah, you schmeckle. Schmutz is a great word. I love using your words because I know how much you guys hate it. Why do you think we are Team Goyim? Yeah. Because I know I've had it happen so many times where I've said something or I've used the hashtag Team Goyim or whatever, and undoubtedly there's some Jay like, hey, you can't use that word. Don't use that word. That's our word. It's fucking great. Among the features and carvings are a two-story castle tower that served as Eddie's living quarters. Walls consisting of 8-foot-high pieces of stone, an accurate sundial, a polar telescope. Polar telescope is the act of aligning the rotational axis of a telescope's equatorial mount on a sundial's gnomon with a celestial pole to the parallel Earth's axis. Okay. An obelisk, a barbecue, a water well, a fountain. He had a fountain. A working fountain. Celestial stars and planets, and numerous pieces of furniture. The furniture pieces include a heart-shaped table, a table in the shape of Florida, 25 rocking chairs, chairs resembling crescent moons, a bathtub, beds, and a throne. This guy died in 51. How did he know what the fuck Florida looked like? This recluse. And a throne. With few exceptions, the objects are made from single pieces of stone that weigh on average 15 short tons each. 3,000 pounds each. Wait. Wouldn't that be 30,000 pounds each? Ton is 2,000 pounds. 2,000 times 15 is 30,000. Yes, 30,000 fucking pounds. The largest stone weighs 30 short tons. 600,000 pounds? No. Yes. And the tallest are two monoliths standing 25 feet each. You guys are okay with the notion that he just had just some simple pulleys and whatnot that allowed him to set these things, these 25-foot tall, 600,000 pound fucking. What? $60,000 pounds. 2,000. I can't believe I'm having such a hard time with it. Times 30. 60,000 pounds. Yes, 60,000 pounds. Sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. A 9-short-ton revolving 8-foot tall gate is a famous structure on the castle. Documented on television programs, In Search of, and that's incredible. The gate is carved so that it fits within 1/4 of an inch of the walls. It was well balanced, reportedly, so that a child could open it with the push of a finger. 18,000 pounds. 18,000 pound door a child could move with a finger. The mystery of the gate's perfectly balanced access and the ease in which it revolved lasted for decades until it stopped working in 1986. Well, that's still a fucking mystery then, isn't it? It's not until, in order to remove it, 6 men with a 50 short ton crane were used. A 50 short ton crane. They used the crane with 6 men. Once the gate was removed, the engineers discovered how Eddie had centered it and balanced it. He had drilled a hole from the top to the bottom and inserted a metal shaft. The rock rested on an old truck bearing. Right, and it just worked. He just balanced it. That's the construction. That's not how he did it. The rock it was the rusting out of this bearing that resulted in the gate's failure to revolve. Complete with new bearings and shaft, it was set back in place on July 23rd, 1986. It failed in 2005 and was again repaired. However, it does not rotate with the same ease it once did. Why not? If it was just so simple, it was just the truck bearing. And it's now, it's 100 years later, Coral Castle remains a popular tourist attraction. Books, magazines, television programs speculate how Eddie was able to construct the structure and move the stones that weighed many tons. Claims that nobody ever seen Eddie at work. Claims that nobody ever seen Eddie at work, and that he levitated the stones have been repudiated. Orville Irwin reportedly witnessed him carry his stones and erect parts of his wall and illustrated the methods in his book, Mr. Kant is Dead. So this guy back then had these goofy trolls that claimed they knew something or other, and oh no, I saw him do it. No, I didn't bother taking a camera, no. But I did, I seen him. I seen him. See, if I was like those cool guys that make cool videos, I would have an edit right there, and then it would cut to whatever that movie quote is from the Waterboy. I don't know. I seen him. The Nemeth Film Collection produced a short film documentary in 1944 of him at work. There's a little blue like citation next to that says contradictory. What? The category contains all self-contradictory articles, mainly used by bots. What? That's what that says. That's what that little citation says. Use what? I've never seen this before. Wow, that's fucking wild. Okay. Coral Castle's website states, if anyone ever questioned Ed about how he moved the blocks of coral, Ed would only reply that he understood the laws of weight and level and leverage as well. He also stated that he had discovered the secrets of the pyramids, referring to the Great Pyramids of Gaza. I think it's pretty obvious he had. Like, how do you not see that? How is that not extremely fucking obvious? Bishop Castle, Ferdinand Castle. Who built a similar castle. Similar stone. A one-man construction project built in the 30s. So there is apparently multiple versions of this that, like, why aren't these things taught to us in history class? I know every year I had to sit through a month of, the Jays were the victims and the Holocaust and the Holocaust and where the Jays. Every fucking year I hated it. If I would have learned about shit like this, I would have been fascinated. I mean, think about it. You're a kid and your teacher starts talking about a castle that some guy built all by himself, made of stone, claiming to know the secrets of how they built the pyramids and all that. Wouldn't that just fascinate you? Wouldn't you want to see it with everything you had? Takes more energy to type that than to keep going on his own. Not really sure what you're talking about, Matt. You can't be the victim and the oppressor. That dumbass. Oh my God. Thank you for saying probably the dumbest thing that's been said. Because if you were to watch Hollywoodism, you would see that that's literally the backbone of every J argument. How they were the victims of the oppressor, the pogroms. They escaped the pogroms over in Europe where they were so oppressed that they were given their own cities to live in. They were so oppressed and they came over here and they just magically took over Hollywood and then ran it with an iron fist. Fueled by nepotism and supremacy and, created the entire American ideal. And they made that movie. That's literally the foundation of every J narrative. Somehow, they are the most oppressed, depressed people. Tease on. Did I do that? I did that. Yeah. They're the most oppressed people ever. The most persecuted people ever. And yet somehow they're all the doctors and politicians and lawyers and they just magically the most successful people, and there's no conspiracy. It's all just hard work. It's all just from hard work. Man, what do I tell you? Do I not tell you that the Jays are the dumbest fucking people in the world? This guy already identified as a J, and now he can't do anything. Nothing he says does anything but prove my narrative even strong, even more every time. It's like how Christians go, yeah, the atheists believe everywhere. All this just came from nothing. All this just came from nothing. Atheists believe that something can come from nothing. They're so stupid. Hey, by the way, who created God? There was no God. There was no before God. God created God. So wait, everything basically came from nothing then, right? Because there had to be a nothing before there was a God. No, God created God, but there was no before God. It's just what it is, bro. It's just what it is. You just don't like facts, bro. Okay, so Bishop Castle is an elaborate and intricate one-man project named after its constructor, the late Jim Bishop, that has become a roadside attraction in central Colorado. What the fuck? The castle is located in south central Colorado on State Highway 165 in the wet mountains of southern Colorado, in the San Isabel National Forest, southwest of Pueblo, Colorado. Well, James Ronald Jim Bishop was born in Honolulu in 1944. He moved to Colorado with his wife, where they raised 4 children, including a son named Dan. Bishop bought the land for the site for $450 when he was 15. 1959. And construction on what was originally intended to be a family project to build a cottage started in 1969. After Bishop surrounded the cottage with rocks, several neighbors noted that the structure looked something like a castle. Bishop took this into consideration and soon began building his castle. In 1988, well, that was a big jump there. Bishop's third child, 4-year-old Roy, was killed in a logging accident at the castle site. When Bishop was asked in 2016 why he continued to build the castle, he replied, "Well, what am I going to run to?" He loved this place. According to Roadside America, for most of the 40 years he worked on the castle, Bishop was engaged in a running battle with Washington bureaucrats over the rocks that he used, which came from the National Forest Foundation surrounding his property. Bishop felt that they were his for the taking. The government wanted to charge him per truckload. The dispute has been settled. In 1996, he was challenged by the local and state government over unsanctioned road signs that pointed to the site. They settled the dispute by issuing official road signs. Oh, okay. Site has become a tourist attraction. Devote chapter to the castle and rated it major fun, and describing it as one man's massive obsessive labor of medieval fantasy construction. But it also issued a parents alert warning potential visitors that Jim Bishop is a tough-talking man with strong, extreme beliefs, and sometimes he expresses them bluntly and loudly. If you or your children want to avoid potentially offensive rants involving politics, you may want to steer clear. I wonder what his thought was on, I don't know, the Jays. It's funny, whenever you find out like great men like Henry Ford, how they felt about like the people that made it on their own, and then seemingly their competition would have been the Jays. You look at how they referred to them. Like Henry Ford had to buy his own news publication just so he could get his views on the Jays out, because nobody would publish Henry Ford's works, Henry Ford's articles. It's just crazy to think about it. Like this man is obviously a great mind and whatever. great businessman. He's the reason for the, you know, the modern day wage and the assembly line and all these fucking narratives that were given about this guy, apparently. And yet, he wasn't allowed to express his views on the Jays, which weren't pleasant, which weren't complimentary. In the winter of 1415, a dispute developed over control of the castle after Jim Bishop and his wife Phoebe were both diagnosed with cancer. And David Merrill, who Jim considered a friend, was made trustee of Bishop Castle. Oh, Jesus Christ. According to Westward.com website, Merrill turned the site into Castle Church for the Redemption, according to the Cluster County Clerk and Recorder's Office. Since then, the bishops have spent $20,000 trying to get a clear title to Bishop Castle and to get Merrill's name off the paperwork. This has since been resolved with Merrill no longer on the paperwork. David Merrill. I wonder. David Merrill. Mexican, you think? Yeah. Maybe Chinese? Japanese. It's either definitely Mexican or definitely Japanese. It's really close. David. Good old David. Drone view of the castle. That shit looks like it's falling. Wow. Some guy built that. Look at all those chemtrails. All over these mountains in Colorado, right? It's just this pristine landscape, and yet there's chemtrails everywhere. Think about how crazy that is. He built that, huh? Stone after stone, just whoop, 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 whoop. It's weird how I can't find any. I want to know about the construction, but the only thing I get is overview. I really, like, it's really kind of crazy, right? In March 2018, a fire occurred at the Bishop Castle Prime, destroying the gift shop and a guest house. The fire is speculated to have been caused by an electrical fault. It did not damage the castle itself. Despite the fire, the attraction opened to the public that week. Okay. Again, why is this so strange? Why can't I find any sort of stuff? But even with that being said, you know, the disputes are over the government wanting to charge him by the truckload for the stone, meaning he had modern day trucks to do all this stuff. He had modern day equipment to do this stuff. He had to have. Well, the Coral Castle guy, which you weren't here for, he didn't. His castle is just, it's one of the most insane sort of American narratives that we have, and nobody, you don't know about it. And you would think this would be something that you would know about. You know about Williamsburg, and you know about all, but you don't know about the Coral Castle. None of us do. I didn't know about that shit until 2018, 19, I don't know when, but it's such a crazy fucking thing. I even think Jeremy's dumbasses who turned me on to it. See? There's value in everyone. Think about this shit, man. Like, I just find it fascinating. And just like I find the whole troll aspect fascinating. I just, to me, motivation, logistics are just, when it comes to anything, that's what I focus on all the time, is the logistics of things. the historical narrative, how things are the way that we're told they are. And even the trolling thing, I can't wrap my head around it any other way than it's bot farm bullshit. Literally, I just can't imagine anybody's that big a loser. That's you would think you would have anything else to do. Anything else. You know, I do this, and my wife is part of it when she wants to be, and then the other time she sits there and does her phone, she does other shit. She is here and does other shit. She's my wife and does other shit. You guys supposedly hate me, and this is all you want to do is watch me for hours? How does that make sense? I just can't, again, I just can't understand that. I wish somebody would explain it to me. Because otherwise, it ends up being tremendous motivation for me. Because I have to answer it. I have to figure out what it is. And the only thing that makes sense to me is the official sort of interference. And when I think about it like that, it's that I am so important that I require this much official interference. Like that's some tremendous motivation, and I appreciate it. I don't know how I'm supposed to see it any other way. It's not like they interfere. It's not like they cause me any sort of discomfort or anything. They make every argument I make that much stronger. Either by not answering for what I'm saying, or when they do actually attempt to, they show you just how stupid people really are. All right, so the next one it says to look up was Ferdinand Cheval, born April 19th, 1836, and died August 19th, 1924. That's fucking great. Often nicknamed Facteur Cheval, mail carrier Cheval, was a French mail carrier who spent 33 years building La Palais Ideal, the Ideal Palace, in Hauterives in southern France. Who knows how that's fucking said? It's French, so it's fucking weird. It is regarded as an extraordinary example of native architecture. Oh, shut the fuck up. The mailman built that in his spare time. Come on, you guys. In the 1800s, the mailman built that when he wasn't working. Are we really okay with this? You honestly, seriously, I don't care if you like me. That makes sense to you.
No.
I mean, where did this guy fucking learn how to do this?
Maybe that was his trade and he just delivered the mail to pay the bills.
No. Cheval was born in Charmes sur Alherbassi. Now say it for real. Yeah, they're not there because you're dumb.
Oh, I was in the shower.
I know, but then you've been out of the shower and you've been looking at shit squinting the whole time trying to give yourself a headache.
Champs sur les basses.
You what?
Champs sur les basses.
Champs sur les basses. Champs sur les basses. Champs sur les basses. I like it. I wanted you to call me that from now on. Champs sur les basses. And I'll be like, yes, woman, what would you like? I know what you want. When you call me Chansu le Boss, I know it is time for me to storm your castle.
Hello?
To a poor family. He was born to a poor farming family. Obviously, that's where he learned how to do it. He left school at 13 to become a baker's apprentice, but eventually became a mail carrier. He left school at 13. In 1958, he married his first wife, Rosaline Rovell. They had two sons, Victorien Joseph Ferdinand, 1864, and Ferdinand Cyril, 1867. Victorien died after only a year in 1865. Rosalie herself died in 1873. 5 years later, Chauvel met and married Claire Philomene Richard. Her dowry included the land on which the Palais Idel stands today. Oh my God. A dowry is a payment such as land property, monetary, cattle, and or any commercial asset that is paid by the bride's family to the groom or his family at the time of the marriage.
I'll be down in just a minute. All right, bye.
Wow. Dowry contracts with the related concepts of bride price and dower. While bride price or bride service is a payment by the groom or his family to the bride or her family, dowry is the wealth transferred from the bride or her family. Wait a minute.
Detroit 100 years ago. Heard of me? That's weird. Oh, turn it up.
Totally makes sense.
100 years ago.
100 years ago, that's Detroit. Who built that? Those things look old. All that shit looks old. Ouch. Amazing, there's not car accidents everywhere, huh? Everybody just knew how to drive. Those big long trains, they just ran by themselves. Those trams, I mean. Oh yeah, look, there's construction photos. That construction photo is clearly manufactured. Look, that's embedded into the film. That's not really there. This is Angela's graduation song. Did you guys know that? Every time you should see her right now. She's doing all kinds of flapper stuff.
So that's supposed to be 1925. So that's
Look at
before the Great Depression.
The big building, the big boats. Yeah, we built all that. That building's still there. That building's still there. Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. So wait, so when the Talmud says that when the goyim rapes a child, they should be put to death. But as long as the child is 3 years and 1 day old, and the raper is a J, he's required to pay the full dowry, is what the explanation that the rabbi said was. But if the dowry is the payment that the bride's family gives to the groom, then what the fuck does that even mean? That's the Jeffrey Sokol shit, remember? On TCAP? Right? When Jeffrey Sokol, the guy that ate the pizza, was trying to get the marriage contract signed. That was some Talmudic shit. Okay, so hang on. Similarly, wait. Answer to the bride, to the groom and his family. Dowry is the wealth transferred from the bride or her family to the groom or his family. So, if the J rapes the child, then all of the family's wealth now gets transferred to the J?
No, it's just a dowry, I thought.
Dowry is bride price is the thing the price
All
that's
their wealth.
bride's price. I'm reading it. Listen. Dowry contracts are related to concepts of bride price and dower. While bride price or bride service is a payment by the groom or his family to the bride or her family, dowry is the wealth transferred from the bride or her family to the groom or his family.
Oh, her personal wealth. I never heard that.
Or her family.
I never heard that the family's wealth. I heard that anything she owns is hers.
Yeah, but the rabbi said that no, see, all the Talmud says is that if that were to happen, then the raper is now required to pay the full dowry. That's what he said. That's just, I mean,
Gotta run Joe up to the grocery store. I'm going to Karen's.
Similarly, dower is the property settled on the bride herself by the groom at the time of marriage, and which remains under her ownership and control. Similarly, dower is the property settled on the bride herself by the groom at the time of marriage, which remains under her ownership and control.
I don't know.
Traditionalist dowry is an ancient custom that is mentioned in some of the earliest writings and its existence may well predate records of it. Yeah, I would imagine, like how most things work, except for the Coral Castle Company.
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, okay. Coral Castle Inc. is who Coral Castle was sold to, right? You make a company about something before you buy the thing, right? No, it does. Dowries continue to be expected and demanded as a condition to accept a marriage proposal in some parts of the world, mainly in parts of Asia. The custom of dowry is most common in strongly paternalial cultures that expect women to reside with or near their husband's family patriotically, or patriarchally. I'm having a hard time today. Dowries have long histories in Europe, South Asia, Africa, and other parts of the world. Okay, so if we're going to talk about origins, it has to originate with the J's, right? Anthropologist Jack Goody's comparative study of dowry systems around the world utilizing the ethnographic atlas demonstrated that dowry is a form of inheritance found in the broad swath of Eurasian societies from Japan to Ireland that practiced diverging devolution, i.e., that transmit property to children regardless of sex. This practice differs from the majority of sub-Saharan African societies that practice homogeneous inheritance, in which property is transmitted only to children of the same sex as the property holder. It's really weird how this isn't coming up. Like none of the J shit's coming up. They love to brag and act like they're the creators of everything, but not this. Historical practices, even the oldest available records, such as the Code of Hammurabi in ancient Babylon, the dowry is described as an already existing custom. Daughters did not normally inherit any of the father's estate. Instead, with marriage, the bride got a dowry from her parents, which was intended to offer her as much lifetime security as her family could afford. In Babylonian, both bride price and dowry auctions were practiced. However, bride price almost always became part of the dowry. Gotta love who built that. According to Herodotus, auctions of maidens were held annually. The auctions began with the woman the auctioneer considered to be the most beautiful and progressed to the least. It was considered illegal to allow a daughter to be sold outside of the auction method. Attractive maidens were offered in an auction to determine the bride price to be paid by a swain, while in the case of maidens lacking attractivity, a reverse auction was needed to determine the dowry to be paid to the swain. Holy shit. I love when that happens. My wife just said come outside and look at the chemtrails. Oh, Jesus. Yep. That totally makes sense. Totally makes sense that one plane would just leave. That it would be going strong and then look like the tank maybe ran out, and then they had to rechange it and start the new tank, and oh, lo and behold, it gets real strong again, even stronger than when it was coming before. Huh. Even more strong, I should say. Is it stronger? I'm not even sure. In the case of a divorce without reason, a man was required to give his wife the dowry she brought as well as the bride price the husband gave. The return of dowry could be disputed if the divorce was for a reason allowed under Babylonian law. A wife's dowry, okay, ancient Greece, Roman Empire, Indian subcontinent, China, let's see, are they even going to do it? Europe? So this is Europe, right? Where we know who controlled Europe. So, dowry was widely practiced in Europe until the early modern era. Folklorists often interpret the folktale Cinderella as a competition between the stepmother and the stepdaughter for resources, which may include the need to provide a dowry. Oh, isn't that cute story that the Jays told us we should all watch? Like, isn't that what that was? Oh, wait, Disney hated the Jays, didn't he? I mean, isn't that why all the bad guys look like Jays? Isn't that why Disney's whole like history is like he's thought of as the one bad guy that existed back then? Not Goldwyn or Metro or Mayer. Not those sick fucking disgusting pricks that were outed by Shirley Temple. Nah. It's Disney because he didn't like the Jays. Because all religions worship the same guy. Well, because all religions were given by the same people. That's the better understanding. There's not this. It's fantasy. But the fantasy was given by the same people to everyone. All right. A common penalty for the kidnapping and rape of an unmarried woman was that the abductor or rapist had to provide the woman's dowry. Until the late 20th century, this was sometimes called wreath money or the breach of promise. Providing dowries for poor women was regarded as a form of charity by wealthier parishioners. The dowry for 3 virgins. This is a painting from 1425, huh? That is some fucked up weird shit. Sure, there's all sorts of symbolism in this shit. Why is there somebody looking through the window? That's so fucking weird. The custom of Christmas stockings springs from a legend of St. Nicholas in which he threw gold in the stockings of 3 poor sisters, thus providing their dowries. That's fucked up. Who knew that was a fucking... Who knew that was the narrative behind Christmas stockings? Did you guys know that? What? So the whole idea of some man, like I've always said, yeah, you know, Christmas at least has some sort of basis in reality. Some guy named Saint Nick gave presents away or something, because that's what you... Nah. It's a guy put some gold pieces, gave some gold pieces to... Threw gold in the stockings of 3 poor sisters. What does that even mean? Why were their stockings open to have gold thrown into them? Saint Elizabeth of Portugal and Saint Martin de Porres were particularly noted for providing such dowries, and the confraternary of the Annunciation, a Roman charity dedicated to providing dowries, received the entire estate of Pope Urban VII. There's that pedo flag again. In 1425, the Republic of Florence created a public fund called the blah blah. Who gives a fuck? Okay. So, going back to this story about this guy who just fucking built this amazing thing just out of nothing. Hola. She got you working like a slave, doesn't she? She's mean. Have she hit you yet?
No, not yet.
Oh man, the last guy, he came with a black eye, and she was like, just that smile, just like that. Yep, that. He was crying. Have a good day. Shut up, dog. Hey, shut up. You know who it is? It's the female man. Oh, I forgot to half power that guy. Should have given him the half power. Okay, so Cheval was born in the place, left school at 13. Her dowry included the land on which the thing stands today. In 1878, she gave birth to their daughter. We don't get to find out how old she was, though. But her dowry includes that land. So how does that... It comes with her. It's her land and it's her this and that, I guess. In 1878, she gave birth to daughter Alice Marie Philomene Lane, who died in 1894 at the age of 15 Alice's death hit Chevelle the hardest, and she was the last child he would have. 18 years later, his son Cyril and second wife Claire died within 2 years of each other in 1912 and 1914, respectively. Chevelle began building the palace ideal in 1879. When he was 43, he reported, "I was walking very fast when my foot caught on something that sent me tumbling a few meters away. I wanted to know the cause. Previously, in a dream, I had built a palace, a castle, or caves. I cannot express it well. I told no one about it for fear of being ridiculed, and I felt ridiculous myself." That doesn't make sense. I was walking fast when my foot caught on something and I tumbled. I wanted to know the cause. Previously in a dream, I had built a palace. Then 15 years later, when I had almost forgotten my dream, when I wasn't thinking of it at all, my foot reminded me of it. My foot tripped on a stone that almost made me fall. I thought he went tumbling. Now he almost fell. I wanted to know what it was. It was a stone of such a strange shape that I put it in my pocket to admire it at my leisure. The next day I went back to the same place. I found more stones, even more beautiful. I gathered them together on the spot and was overcome with delight. It was a sandstone shaped by water and hardened by the power of time. It became as hard as pebbles. It represents a sculpture so strange that it is impossible for man to imitate. It represents any kind of animal, any kind of caricature. I said to myself, since nature's, are you barking at them still? What are you doing? Stop it. Come on, man. You know who that is. I know it's a different mailman, but come on. I said to myself, shut up. Since nature is willing to do the sculptor, I will do the masonry and the architecture. So he just said that to himself. For the next, you're gonna love it, right? For the next 33 years, Chevelle picked up stones during his daily mail routes and carried them home to build the palace ideal. At first, he carried the stones in his pockets, then switched to a basket. Eventually, he used a wheelbarrow. This guy was carrying around a wheelbarrow full of stones while doing his fucking daily mail route. Because back then, they had their mail truck and they, kind of interesting. The mail came at that exact time, right? Whole bunch of pedos on here. See, again, I feel like I should be fucking deleting these guys. I should not allow these people to fucking communicate their pedo shit. Like, I feel guilty. I feel like I'm contributing to it by knowing what it is and allowing it to happen. I'm contributing to it in some way, and I hate that. But at the same time, I mean, it's not like I'd be losing good people either. At the end of the day, I got to remember, it's not like these people are contributing to the conversation in any, like, real, decent kind of way. It's all just stupid shit, right? They're all just obsessed with me and obsessed with everything I do. But they make the feed bigger. It's like it's testing me right now. They're testing me. Am I more inclined to try to keep my viewership up, or you know what? If you fly the flag from now on, I'm just gonna block you. So that's your warning. Fly it proudly. Okay, so we got this one. Okay. By all means, please keep doing it. This one. Anybody else want to keep testing it? Go right ahead. Allah Akbar! Muslims, Islam is just as dumb as Christianity and the rest of it, man. Well, don't fly the pedo flag. You don't want to be banned. Don't fly the pedo flag. That simple. You fly the pedo flag, you get banned. I don't want anybody being able to communicate their shit on my page. And you have to remember, if I say this is the pedo flag, I see it as the pedo flag, and I'm going to acknowledge you and out you as a pedo for flying this flag. And you go, oh yeah, I'll show you, and fly the flag. You don't even deny anything or say you just fly the flag. That's you saying you're a proud pedo and that I'm right. You're trying to solicit child exploitation material transfers through my page. Oh, I can. Look. I'm way more important than them being smartasses. Right? They don't want to lose me. I'm too important to them. They spend hours watching me in their lonely lives. Anyway, back to business. So this guy walked around with a wheelbarrow full of rocks while doing his mail route. I guess in between, like, was there a horse that he would leave at the end of the street and fill up his mail bag? Who separated the mail? The idea of a mail route back in the 1800s, how was that organized? How did all of that even work? Just think about how the world works and think about how difficult, like, it's difficult today. And yet we're supposed to believe that Donkey Inc., with their fucking, their horses and their mud roads and their no tech and all that, they had, intricate mail systems that were sending letters across the ocean and shit, no problem. The palace materials mainly consist of stones, river washed, pebbles, porous tufa, and fossils of different shapes and sizes. When visitors arrive at the palace, the first thing they see is the southern facade, approximately 26 meters, 85 feet long, and up to 33 feet high. Again, there we go, 33 feet. Woo! The decoration resembles aspects of both the Royal Pavilion in Brighton, England, and Antony Gaudi's Sagrada Familia. You know what that is, right? So the term Gaudi, I think it's Gaudi. That's where I think we get the word from, is this guy. Antony Gaudi is this, oh man, I don't want to hit another thing, but it's so fascinating. This is the guy that supposedly designed this fucking crazy ass church, man. Let's see if we can find any better pictures of it. My God. Shut up, dude. What is your deal today? Hey, stop being a butthole. Brr, brr, brr. What are you even fucking barking at? Oh. Some random dog. Sure hope Mom doesn't come back anytime soon. God damn it. You know she's gonna be fucking... Go out there and try to do something about it. Whose goddamn dog is that? I don't recognize it. Oh. He's just out walking along. Do 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 do. I'm just out for a walk. My wife's so stupid. She thinks every dog is just a good doggy. It's crazy. I can't find a good picture. Yeah, he supposedly built this. Oh, that poor dog. His foot's all fucked up. Yeah, like that. You know, that's just some of it. And if you, yeah, no, I see. I know, I see. Yeah. Oh, if my dog's making noise, that means I'm hurting him, right? Look at that shit. Look at how intricately all that's fucking carved. Somebody's just up there. Scrape, 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 scrape. Yep. Scrape, 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 scrape. Chisel, 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 chisel. More. Oh, look. Just chisel. Just fucking. Yeah. We just made that. Just made that. That is the Basilica et Temple Exterior de la Sagrada Familia, also known as the Sagrada Familia. A church under construction in the Example district of Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain. It is the largest unfinished Catholic church in the world, designed by the Catalan architect Antoni Gaudí, 1852 to 1926. In 2005, his work on Sagrada Familia was added to an existing UNESCO World Heritage Site, Works of Antoni Gaudí. On November 7th, 2010, Pope Benedict XVI consecrated the church and proclaimed it a minor basilica. It's just stupid. On March 19th, 1882, construction of Sagrada Familia began under architect Francisco de Paula de Villar. In 1883, when Villar resigned, he resigned a year later, Gaudí took over as chief architect. So he designed it, and the thing is, so he didn't actually give you plans. The thing about Gaudí is that his whole style was that he would build a small scale tabletop model of the church and then be like, okay, build it. And then they would just build it. There was no plans. There was no like, this is this long. This is what we use. This is going to support this amount of weight. This, that, and the... No. If you could build it small, you could build it big. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You could build it big if you could build it small. You could build it big. He did it. Like, this is so like you've already seen, there's some details here. Look, they already gave you 2 details. They gave you the architect that resigned a year after construction was started. So then this guy went and he became the head architect. Didn't know how to draw plans and shit, but became the head architect. And he worked on there are multiple Gaudí structures throughout Europe. And they are just that. They are gaudy as fuck. Like, they always stand way out amongst all the other old world looking shit. His stuff looks just crazy. His stuff looks like it's with the style that's used in India, in the fuck is it called? Bangladesh and shit like that. And in all of those ancient Indian structures that are just mind blowing. That's the kind of shit he does. Gaudi took over as chief architect, transforming the project with his architectural and engineering style, combining Gothic and curvilinear art nuova forms. Gaudi devoted the remainder of his life to the project, and he is buried in the church's crypt. At the time of his death in 1926, less than a quarter of the project was completed. Relying solely on private donations, Sagrada Familia's construction progressed slowly and was interrupted by the Spanish Civil War. Didn't knock it down, though. In July 1936, architects from the FAI set fire to the crypt, or anarchists from the FAI set fire to the crypt and broke their way into the workshop, partially destroying Gaudi's original plans. Okay, so I'm going to read you what it says. Anthony Gaudi was an architect and designer known as the greatest exponent of Catalan modernisme. Gaudi's works have a Sui generis style. Most are located in Barcelona, including his main work, Sagrada Familia Church. Look at that. That exact same picture. They all were like, okay, you want me to pose like this? Just like this is how you always, yeah, everybody, you want me to put my hand in my coat? Anthony Gaudi I. Cornet. Let's see. Gaudi's work was influenced by his passions in life, architecture, nature, and religion. He considered every detail of his creations. His work combined crafts such as ceramics, stained glass, wrought iron forging, and carpentry. He introduced new techniques in the treatment of materials such as trencadis, which are used waste ceramic pieces. So, shit pipes? First guy to think of shit. Well, okay. Under the influence of neo-Gothic art, the Oriental techniques, Gaudi became part of the Modernista movement, which peaked in the late 19th and early 20th century. We don't have those anymore. We don't have any sort of movements or anything like that anymore. That shit all ended with this. His work transcended His work transcended mainstream modernism, culminating in a style inspired by natural forms. Gaudi rarely drew detailed plans of his works, instead preferring to create them as three-dimensional scale models and molding the details as he conceived them. Because, see, I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? When I say things, I just say them and hope it all works out. Or maybe I know what I'm talking about, and that's why I say them. But notice how I even try to prove myself wrong and then, show you the sources. Oh, gotta show you the sources. The Wikipedia sources. Okay, it's the sources on Wikipedia. I don't know if you've noticed the theme here, but I purposefully go to the same source so we get the same source for the material every time. I mean, this is just silly, right? It's fucking silly how desperate and stupid these people are. You can't come up with anything, so this is the best you do, and to me, it clearly backfires on you. I love some old racist cartoons, some old racist Casper shit. Me not gonna give him up. Me gonna shoot him up. Hump him, whop him style. Whip him Gangnam style. Rip, rip, rip. Did you guys know? You see? Because it's like an Asian guy. He's Asian. And it's funny. Get it? They don't look like us. Right? And they look like that. Like, yeah, it's funny. Goddamn. I really hate who we are. It's so crazy. But so you think about that. So the whole point in going that far is to show you the narrative that you're given is just bullshit. This guy, if you look up his works, he has 7 of his works are considered like UNESCO heritage sites, right? And all of them are these just crazy, crazy buildings that you would... Apparently not for him. Apparently it's all to the gravy, baby. Does that ever make sense? Why does that work? Like, why do you accept that? It's so funny to me how people always get mad at me and be like, what's your proof? What's your proof? And it's like, what proof do you have to believe that I'm wrong? What proof do you have to believe whatever narrative you do choose to believe? And they don't like that. You know, look at my comment section. Not only do they not address anything I'm getting wrong or, you know, anything I'm even talking about really, but they don't tell you what their perspective is. They don't even let me know like why they think it's okay to fuck with children. Why they think genocide is okay. Why they think J slavery of the rest of us is, J enslavement of the rest of us is a good thing. And it's so strange to me that people don't have the ability to express how they think, why they think certain ways, like all of it. It's just, it's strange. Right, I do. Wisdom is realizing that virtue isn't enough. Like, why are we quoting other people? You know, religion is like Santa Claus. Eventually you realize apartments don't have chimneys. That one's mine. Write it down. It's a good one. You know? Because it says everything. It says everything. But don't you guys, like, again, don't people think this shit's crazy? Don't you guys think, like, the narrative we're given is crazy? Oh, I wanted to read about Eddie real quick. Edward Leedscalnan, Edwards, born January 12th, 1887, died December 7th, 1951, was a Latvian immigrant to the United States and self-taught engineer. How do you self-teach yourself? How do you self-teach engineering? How do you go about doing that? What is the process of going, okay, I'm going to teach myself how to build fucking shit in a way that nobody can replicate? And that appears to be how they built the pyramids and shit like that. Shit we can't wrap our heads around to this day. But this guy just self-taught. He was like, no, it's simple. You take the X to the Z and the Y to the Q and you make it look like a do-ba-da-do. And he starts doing Cosby shit. And you take them rocks and you pick them up and you spin them around and you put them on the thing and then you Date rape the woman that you with the drugs and the drink. Like, what the fuck is going on here? How is this all just, these narratives were just given like, okay, just accept it, motherfuckers. This is the story. Who single-handedly built the Coral Castle in Florida. Added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1984, Eddie was also known for developing theories of magnetism. Where can I find Eddie's theories of magnetism? Eddie was born on January 12th, 1887, in Stemarinia Parish, Latvia. He was the fifth son of Mina and Andreas, who were farmers on rented land. It's during his time in Latvia that it's believed, under the tutelage of his father, that Eddie learned stonemasonry. Oh, come the fuck on. A unique form of stonemasonry that nobody else knows. Little is known of his childhood, aside from the fact that his parents were not wealthy and he received only a 4th grade formal education. Oh, come on. Why do they do this? Why don't they come up with better narratives than this? 4th grade? Edward was a sickly boy who often spent time reading books. Right, because, in the 1890s, books were just everywhere. Who was publishing all these books? How were they distributing all these books? How was his family getting the book? Like, what? Nah, these were poor people, poor farm people who had a whole bunch of books from the bookmobile that would go around, right? This is for fucking stupid. This is stupid shit. Like, this is just, what are we talking about here? Edward Sigley, helping him to develop an inquisitive mind and a lifelong yearning for knowledge. You know what I love about these Wikipedia articles is that, to me, they very much sound like book reports. Like, this is, if you ever happen to be given an assignment and then you have to do a book report on this, it's basically all laid out. So all you have to do is maybe change a few of the sentences around and maybe use different words, but you basically have your book report here. It's not like, and again, one of the things that they'll do is they'll give you a whole bunch of details about the shit that doesn't matter. They'll give you a whole bunch of details about how, well, the girl, her father was a blah blah, and he was actually a this, that, and the other, and he had a meeting with the queen one time, and it ended up being this huge court trial, and you're like, wait, what does this have to do with Eddie? They love giving you a whole bunch of details about shit that doesn't matter, so that when you leave the story, you believe it to be true, because in your head you think, oh, I got a bunch of details, so it must have been true. When in reality, the only thing they'll say is like, he studied magnetism, and the people said he could do it with lifting and levitation and blah blah blah. But then his neighbor, they had property rights, and the property rights were sold to this guy, and that went to here, and then this one, and they just yada yada over the meat and potatoes of the thing. It was suggested that he learned stonemasonry from his father and practiced his craft in Latvia after coming of age. What the fuck does that mean? At the age of 26, he was engaged to marry Angus Skutsvitz, who was 10 years younger, 16. However, the girl who Eddie later referred to as his Sweet 16 broke their engagement. He then decided to immigrate to the United States. Yeah. What? I mean, that's what you do, right? In 1912, you know what? The tough gets, going gets tough. The tough gets going from Latvia to America. You don't speak the language. You have a fourth grade education. Good thing you happen to know how to make shit out of nothing. Just think about the reality of this and how stupid this is. Shit, I gotta go. On April 7, 1912, Eddie arrived in New York City. After looking for suitable work around the East Coast until August, he relocated to Pacific Northwest, which is experiencing a logging boom. They were cutting the trees down. On June 5th, 1917, while in Oregon, he filled in his draft registration stating that he was self-employed and engaged in axe handle manufacturing. So now he's in Oregon. Okay. The 1920s census data reveal that he resided in Reedsport, Oregon, the complete other side of the country. In the winter of 22-23, he allegedly contracted, after allegedly contracting tuberculosis, Eddie moved to the warmer climate of Florida, where he purchased an undeveloped parcel of land in Florida City, which at the time was lightly inhabited. Yep. On February 27th, 1923, the Homestead Enterprise newspaper published a notice that Eddie, a Californian, has purchased an acre of the R.L. Moser homestead and is planning to erect a home. And over the next 20 years, Eddie constructed a massive structure he called Rock Gate and dedicated, in his own words, to the girl who had left him years before. Working alone and mostly at night, Eddie eventually quarried and sculpted more than 1,100 short tons, or 997,903 kilograms, or kg. What's kg? Of oolite limestone into an architectural and engineering landmark that would later be known as the Coral Castle. He used various basic tools available under his modest means, including salvaged timber and automobile parts. First, he built a house out of limestone blocks and wood. Then he gradually constructed the stone structure in which he is now famous. With a reserved personality, he eventually opened the Coral Castle to public, offering tours for 10 cents. When people were asking Eddie how he moved all the heavy stone on his own, he usually replied, "I understand the laws of weight and leverage, and I know the secrets of the people who built the pyramids." And so the government, nobody cared. Nobody wanted to know nothing. They were just like, okay. Referring to the Great Pyramid of Giza, some local residents later remembered that as school children, they had field trips to the construction site of the future Coral Castle, and Eddie personally explained manual methods of his work. I mean, this don't even make sense. In the 20s, the structure, with an assortment of sculpted stones, was located in Florida City. Then in the mid-30s, Eddie hired a truck with a driver to move it to its present location on a 10-acre site in the adjacent Homestead, Florida. Just a truck. Eddie was an eccentric and lived on an exclusive diet of only crackers and sardines. In his later years, he starved himself. On November 9th, 1951, he checked himself into Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami. Apparently, Eddie suffered a stroke either before he left for the hospital or at the hospital, conveniently. He died 28 days later of a kidney infection at 64. Blah, blah, blah. See, I mean, and now it's weird. Because now we're going to see a whole bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter. But that's the story. That's the guy that built the impossible. He was just good at it, you know? He was just good at it, and nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit. They just were like, oh, I'll pay you 10 cents for the tour, and then that's cool. I don't need anything else. Anyway, as always, go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg, BERG-group.com. Or BERG-group.com. I don't know if I said that right. The link's in the description. It's free. Just when you ask, it'll ask you. You click download, it'll ask how much you want to pay. Just click 0 or put a bunch of money in. It'll help you if you do. But it's all free. The whole catalog is free. And we hope you enjoy it. Hope you like listening to music that's not the standard bullshit. I'm going to leave you the link to the most important thing you can go watch, which is Hollywoodism. It's them telling on themselves, basically. And I'm also going to leave you a link to the Facebook page, one of our videos. You can go there. You can check it out. You can watch all our videos and shit. So have yourself a great fucking day. Fuck you and your stupid Jesus. And you pedophiles, kill yourself.